Dr. Rajesh Trial for his remarks.
Good morning, Nepal. Friends, in this session, I want very active participation from all of you. Are you ready? Yes. Very active participation because this is going to be a learning session and you can keep all the things aside. Some exercises are also important. So what I'm going to cover up is neuro-linguistic programming and also about speed reading. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So how many of you are actually aware of what is called neuro-linguistic programming? Very few people? Okay, that's good for me. So this neuro-linguistic programming, this is about the psychology of excellence and this is about the technology of achievement. So everywhere it is the psychology that makes you deliver the result. Whatever be the preparation, whatever be the circumstances, but if psychologically you are prepared, then the results are there, otherwise results are not going to be there. And NLP believes that everything is learnable and everything can be duplicated. It says that if one person can do something, every other person can certainly learn to do that. And it works on conscious mind as well as subconscious mind both. Can anybody tell me how much activities do we do through the conscious mind and how much do we act through the subconscious mind? Anyone? How much do we operate through subconscious mind? Friends, only for your information, more than 90% of the activities that we do, that is through the subconscious mind, hardly 10% of the activities we are doing through the conscious mind. What does it mean? Most of the things we are in the habit of doing something and we really don't even think without doing something. Like say for example, like switching on your mobile phone. How many times you think before switching on the phone? Never actually. So that is the time when we are operating through the subconscious mind, and same way we do the majority of the activities. So more than 90% of the activities we are doing through the subconscious mind, hardly 10% of the activities are there which we are doing through subconscious or other conscious mind. And we need to have a control over the subconscious as well as conscious mind, both. So here, when I say neuro-linguistic programming, neuro stands for mind. Linguistic is something very important word. This is the language that we talk. And this is not external. We are talking about the language in which we talk to ourselves. What message we are giving to ourselves that makes a difference. And when two things are combined, the mind is there, our own commands are there, which is linguistic, then comes a behavior that is called programming. So everything we do through because of the thought process that we have. And the thought is coming because of the subconscious mind. So this is the science, or you can say this is again the psychology of excellence and technology of achievements. Now friends, be very attentive about this. Read the first line. What is written over there? Your present life. What we generally call it our present life. It is not present, it is present. Please be active with me. It is present. Present means what? It has been sent to you today. And who has sent that? Who has sent that life to us today? Who has sent? See there, go in the bottom. What did it say? You write your own fate. And the God is always there to say, Tathastu, whatever you want, but if you want genuinely, the results are there. So who has sent your life today?
Whatever experiences we get.
It is we ourselves has made us today. And whatever we today, that is going to make our tomorrow and the future. And the last one is given, always take the responsibility for every action or inaction. That is the end. But see here, the first thing what is there, that wherever we stand in our life today, we are responsible for all the results. Do you take the responsibility?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
How? Now I'll go into the details. The results in our life as of today, these are result of our habits and behavior. Do you believe that or not? Whatever has happened to us in our life till date, it is the result of our habit and our behavior. What is the difference between habit and behavior? Any idea? Habit is in relation to one particular activity, and all the habits taken together, that is called behavior. So whatever is happening in our life today and whatever has happened till now, that is the result of our habit and behavior. And how the habits are formed? Habits are formed because of repeated action. What is when you repeat the action, there has to be some situation which has been done first time. That I am referring as an action. Now, when you took the action, whether there was a reward or there was a punishment, take any situation about yourself, analyze this. This fits into every situation. There is no exception to this, right? So whatever you are doing, it is because of your repeated action. And before repeated action, there is action. And at the time of action, whether there was a reward or there was a punishment, that makes the difference whether it will become a habit or not. Now take an example. If a young student returns and he is already smoked outside, and the parents do not take any action, what will happen? As a teacher, you can tell me, if a student smokes and comes to the school, what happens? Any punishment or reward? No punishment is also a reward. No punishment is also a reward. So tomorrow, if you do not punish him, tomorrow he is going to smoke again, and day after tomorrow it is going to become a habit, and then it is going to have the results in the life. Result will be, sometime he will be hospitalized, only because of that particular habit. Then, before the action, there is a thought. Can you take any action without a thought? Can there be any action without a thought? Cannot be. So before any action is there, there is a thought. And thought is based on the decision. Decision is based on thought. And thought is based on what? Thought is based on belief system. What do you believe? Accordingly, you are going to have the thought. And that is going to govern your entire life. And here, your belief is based on your experience and on your perception. So if you understand this thing, you can take control of your life forever. So as of today, who controls? Whether you are controlling life or life is controlling you? Tell me, whether you are controlling life or life is controlling you?
We controlling life.
You are controlling life?
Yes.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Life is controlling you, but from today, you can take control of your life. From today, you can take control of your life. How to take control? I'm going to explain you. You need to change the belief system. If you change the belief system, certainly you can change your life. So this is only about, if you wish, you can have the clip of this. Otherwise, it is going to be shared with you. Then what is called study? Now, a little bit about the education. What is called study? All the teachers are here. Study is read, remember, reproduce, get the result, and then, am I right or wrong?
Yes.
This is the study. Is this the purpose for the education what we are giving? What is the result of this? We are educating the student with the object of getting the maximum marks and get a job. What we are creating? Employees or employers? We are creating employees. We are creating slaves. You have to create employers. Number two, with this kind of education system that we have today, there is a stress, there is anxiety, there is a depression. What is called stress? Stress is fear about the future. Stress is fear about the future. Anxiety. Anxiety is a situation of lack of confidence where the person is not confident of going ahead. And depression, that is a case of loss. Something seems to have been lost. So, current education system is putting the student in all three negative states of mind: stress, anxiety, depression, and all three taken together, what is called? One word, SAD. S-A-D, where from it comes? SAD is not a word at all, friends. Those who are English teachers, please note that. SAD is not a word at all. It is a just, you can say, abbreviation of these three things. So if you don't know what the emotion is, only one common word, the person is sad. Otherwise, if you are specific, you can say that he is either under stress, or he is under anxiety, or he is under depression. Now, when these kind of emotions are there, what is the result of the education? If the person fails to score, next is depression. After depression, what next? Unpredictable results, and then go up to suicide. Yesterday, some data was there about the suicidal rate. How many suicides in a year? And that is only about the 10th and 12th. If you take all the suicides committed during the year because of depression, number will run into lakhs and lakhs. And we can save those lives. We can save, if we can educate the people how to take control of their emotions, we can certainly save those lives. Now, what should be the education? What should be the learning? I am strictly against study. I am in favor of learning. I am in favor of education. So for education, first of all, there has to be a pleasurable knowledge sharing and receiving. I am not teaching, I am sharing my knowledge with you. And you have all the rights to interact with me. And I told you in the beginning, let it be an interactive session. Okay? Number 2, understanding. We talked, or rather we instructed the students to memorize, to remember the things without understanding. What should come first? Understanding or memory? Understanding should come first. And we are asking the student to memorize first and then keep on thinking whether you have understood or not. Isn't it? Something, a serious mistake we are committing. As far as reading is concerned, I ask a very common question. Whether you start reading first or you learn first. Your answer, please. You learned first or read first? Read first. But how did you know what is the alphabet? What is the word?
Learning first.
Learning always comes first. Reading will always come later. And you know what is the meaning of the word reading? Reading is re-addition to the existing knowledge that you have. Reading is re-addition to the existing knowledge that you have. That is reading. So first of all, you should have the knowledge, then only there can be a re-addition. Okay. So their understanding should come first. Memory comes naturally. You don't have to remember anything. Right? Suppose cycling, swimming, any activity you take, you learned it practically, and it is you have remembered that permanently. Even if you don't cycle for 10 years and suddenly you have to cycle, you can do that because this is in your permanent memory. So this is the way we need to educate our children, that whatever is given to them, that will be with them forever. Next comes practice, not only theory. Theory is delivered in the class, it is memorized, it is written in the exam, marks are given thereon, but practically they don't know anything about that. In any case, whatever they are reading, it is historical knowledge, it is already outdated knowledge. Isn't it? Whatever we are studying or we are educating today, it is historical or it is current. Anything which is printed, which is on the internet, it is already outdated. By the time he comes in the market, there will be 100% something new. And whatever I studied, nothing is being used today. What I am teaching today, I know the students are not going to use that tomorrow. Tomorrow something is going to be different. So we are not supposed to get the students memorized, rather than let them understand so they can apply their mind. Next comes opportunity to think. So when they will think, only when they have to apply the knowledge. And when they apply the knowledge, when they think, there comes innovation, and innovation leads to intellectual property rights. What is valued in the world? Assets or IPR? What is valued? How many of you understand IPR? Intellectual property rights, copyright, patent, trademarks, designs. These 4 things are called IPR. And this is the highest valued asset any company is having in the world. Real assets, physical assets, negligible value. IPR, highest value. Take example of pharma company. Pharma company is surviving by selling the medicine or by having the patent on the medicine. Patent means nobody else can produce unless I authorize. exclusive right to commercially exploit that invention that is called patent. So what is valued in the world is innovation, IPR. Whatever is learned, that is of no use at all. It is already outdated. So we need to change our education system from this to this, from study to learning. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Next. Now what the NLP can do, it will help you to change the perception, the belief, the thought, the state as well as action. And if belief system changes, perception changes, thought will change and decision will change, and the decision changes, everything else in life will change. So NLP or the neuro-linguistic programming can do that magic with you. And this state is about, I'm talking about the mental state, which I'll explain that little later. Now what are the challenges which are faced by the children today? All of you are already aware of, nothing new for you. But these are the challenges which are being faced by the challenge. School pressure. Do better, do more, do better, do more, homework, this activity, that activity. And then parental pressure. Who's creating the maximum pressure? School or parents?
Parents.
Parents. People become parent by understanding or by planning or no? They don't understand anything about parenting, they become parents and certainly take the responsibility. Then peer pressure. Then social pressure. So many challenges are there for the children and mentally they are not prepared for so much of challenges. And these are the challenges which are faced by the teachers. Performance pressure from the school. Next is the result pressure from the parents. Behavioral issues of the students. Expectation of the society. So much of pressure with the teacher. And then comes the last one. The challenges with the principals. In addition to all other challenges, they have performance pressure from the management, then they are under pressure from regulatory bodies and authorities, result pressure from the parents, behavioral issues with the students, and the expectations of the society. So many challenges are there in front of the principals. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Then, the major reason for all the challenges is communication. What is called a communication? You understand the meaning of the word communication, but I'll give you the meaning of that. Communication is common understanding. Common understanding. If I am telling you something, you have your own definition of that, I have my own definition of that. Is that a communication? It is not at all. It is just a verbal message. It is not a communication. So communication means when two people together are exactly on the same page, common understanding, then it is a communication. And this is all the problems in the world arise because of communication. There is no other reason. All the problems arise because of communication. And in the communication, whatever is spoken, that is negligible. Whatever is spoken, that is negligible. Here is the chart. This says 55% of the communication is body language. 55% of the communication is body language. So how a teacher enters in the class, how a teacher is behaving while being in the classroom, that is communicating a lot to the students rather than the wordings.